hello, and welcome to the last Thursday of 2021, everybody. Can you all believe that? Can you all
And I
believe
believe,
it?
can
This
believe it.
year is blink and you missed it, right? It's almost over. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I am Dr. Monique. I am your board certified family physician who you know as a physician in the kitchen. And through this show and my online platform, I help busy households enjoy healthy eating without impacting their hectic schedules. Welcome to the last veganish of 2021.
I cannot believe it.
I can't believe that either. I can't believe that either. We are so glad to be with you. Mr. Ellis, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. I am excited. I'm it's a bittersweet moment, right? Because it's the last show of the year, but it's not the last show. So I'm looking forward to 2022. 2021 was better than 2020.
A little bit. A little bit. We got the
Well, we still have some
vaccines, right?
challenges that we've
So,
got to overcome for 2022. So I'm looking for 2022 to continue this upward trend that we've got going
I,
on.
I accept that. Did you have a good Christmas? I know I did. I had a wonderful Christmas I have a small family. It's just me and my son, and we were at my parents' house, and we ate and laughed, and I watched all those NBA games. It was wonderful. How about you? What was your Christmas like?
Again, it was two things because on the one side we were supposed to go over to my cousin's house um, with friends and family, and they being diligent tested everybody the night before, and somebody came up positive, and so we weren't able to go over there. But we were smart, and because we love leftovers, so we had already bought all the stuff for like Christmas dinner,
There you go.
and we were going to make it on Sunday so we could have some leftovers. And then when my cousin was like, "Nah, I don't want to expose y'all," we were like, "All right, well, we got it anyway." So we we went ahead
There
and
you go. Well, that's to be commended. I mean, that you guys were thoughtful, right? That
Mhm.
mindset, you guys were thoughtful, you planned, you had a backup plan, and more importantly, you all didn't expose other people. So that's to be
Exactly,
commended.
exactly.
Um, well, you guys, you know what we do here. This is rep your city, rep your zip code, rep your country, whatever you want to call it. Please drop in the chat where you are watching us
Rep
from.
your block.
Rep your block. That's right. We got San Antonio, Texas is first to the party. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much for joining and welcome. If you're catching this on the replay, please share type hashtag replay. We'd love to know that you stopped by. And if you're watching us live and you want to invite someone, please do not hesitate to share this information. We are changing lives in here every week. I mean, that's what when I sit down in this chair, I'm like, when I'm planning the show, I'm like, how can I change somebody's life? So we want to share this information. So please don't be shy. Share, because sharing is caring, right? So we've got St. Paul, Minnesota, Oklahoma City. Okay, Midwest, stand up. All
And
right.
let me add one more thing for our last show. If this is your first time, give us a shout out. Let us know if it's your first time watching the show. Let us know, and let us know what you'd like to know about being veganish. And so we'll
Exactly.
let you know about what that show, what this is all about. So absolutely, give us a shout out. Raise your hand if it's your first time watching, because we'd like to give you a shout out and thank you for joining us this evening.
Definitely, definitely. Baton Rouge is in the house, little Creole there. Yes, we so vegan here at Veganish, we talk about what it's like to be plant-based friendly. So my veganish is basically it's a concept that came from my own personal journey toward a more plant-based diet, experimenting in the kitchen, my favorite room in my house, and just trying out new things. Oh, my girl, my bestie Kim is on here from Charlotte. Mwah. I have her to thank for these beautiful earrings. First time from Ohio. Thank you, Erica Jones Smith. Midwest is really representing tonight.
Yep, yep.
So we're on here. We talk about my aha moments, my wins, my not so wins, so that I can share that information with you guys. Because hopefully, wherever you are in your vegan or veganist journey, hopefully you'll get some information. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to get through, and like I always say, this is the fastest 30 minutes. This is faster than the 30 minutes on my Peloton. I don't care what the clock says; it's not the same.
The Peloton 30 minutes be like 30 hours. Okay.
Not the
Yeah.
exactly,
I'll be checking that
exactly.
Peloton timer like, really? It's only been 2.5 minutes?
Right,
Why,
right.
why am I sweat like this?
So Sherry is here from Brooklyn. I've seen Sherry a few times.
Oh yeah,
So
Sherry's a regular. That's my girl.
Cherry
Cherry.
is regular. So thank you so much. So if you were here last week, you know we talked about today's show is going to be part two. It's called "Gimme Some Sugar" Part Two. So last week we talked about some of the things that we use to sweeten our foods, our drinks, and we talked about whether they're vegan or not. We talked about honey and regular, white sugar, molasses, and things like that. So today we're going to do part two, and it's actually going to be a part three. There was so much information that I found when I started researching this. I was like, we need to make this another show. So today we're going to get to part two, and then we'll wrap it up next week. So I see Stephanie from Philadelphia. Charmaine, oh, she's sharing with Charmaine. Yes, thank you. Invite people, please invite them. Let them know we're here. So we're a fellowship, as my grandmother used to say. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up, Ellis, if you don't mind. He's the Vanna to my pet. Say that. All right.
And look, we got it in a different way this week, so you could actually see our faces. So if you weren't
That's
with us
right.
last week, we were covered. All you could do was hear our voices. So now you can hear our
That's
faces
right.
as we go through this chart.
So, to borrow a phrase from the late great Marvin Gaye, how sweet it is because, we love sugar. We love sweet stuff. At least most of us do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the purpose of bringing you this information is to show you what you're getting when you make that choice and hopefully help you make better choices or informed choices. And this all kind of sparked from agave, right? Because agave has this um their marketing folks are great because people think, oh, it's healthy, I can eat all the agave or eat agave, and it's really not. So that led us into just comparing and contrasting some of the other things. So here, I'm sorry, I said we talked about honey last week, but here honey is this week. And we all know, if you've been watching the show by now, we know honey is not vegan because it's made by bees. But if you're veganish like me, you actually still drink honey or eat honey because I like it in my tea. I like that. So, but when we look at calories per serving, so this table has 3 columns, whether or not it's vegan, calories per serving, and here we talk about usually teaspoons or tablespoons, and then something called the glycemic index. And the
Mhm.
glycemic index is particularly important for diabetics, people who have sugar, who need to control their sugars more tightly. But it's just a rate, it's just a number, it's an indicator of how quickly and how high a sugar will, or a food rather, will raise your blood sugar. So it's on a scale from 0 to 100. 100 is pure glucose. And so a high index is considered anything over 70. So we'll get into all that a little bit more. So they've already got questions about monk fruit. And then, yes, we're going to get to that. And then South China, Maine. All right. Thank you so much for watching. So we can see that honey, if you look at it, per tablespoon has 64 calories. So remember, you have to, when you're trying to count your calories and keep up with what you're taking in every day, everything counts except for water, right? And so here you can see just one little tablespoon of honey can actually have quite a big caloric punch. And it's kind of low on the lower end of that glycemic index. So you have to, make that decision. So, but yes, monk fruit, and I'll be honest with you up front, I have not used monk fruit personally, but monk fruit
Oh,
is
my wife swears by it. Like
awesome. So
it's
what does she like about it?
so for those of you that monk fruit is what they use to make stevia. So that's
Mhm.
sweetener that you see a lot of times in packaging is stevia, and she likes it. What she loves about it is it's natural, because as you can see here on the table, it is vegan, and it also is very. I didn't realize it was 0 on the glycemic index, which is a great, makes it a great sweetener. And so she was like, the only thing, the trouble she's having is being able to bake with it and cook with it, because she
Hmm.
doesn't know the ratio from, like, if recipes typically call for cane sugar or that white,
Mhm.
granulated sugar, and so she didn't know how to make the ratio from that to the stevia that she likes to put in her coffees and teas. And so she's like, if I can find the ratio, she would bake with it, because as you can see,
Interesting. I would think that information would be available because it is becoming more mainstream, and I'm looking forward to using it. I just haven't done it yet. When we were putting this table together, though, we were actually looking at like the actual natural, the fruit itself.
mhm,
So, but so these numbers apply to that. But yes, stevia, as from what I understand, is a 0 calorie sugar
mhm.
replacement. So, definitely something to keep in mind. So, if you're looking for something new, with 0 calories, monk fruit might do it for you. But that, keep in mind what he said about the baking. But yeah, that's interesting. I would think that that number, that math should be done somewhere. Someone should have that information.
It should be because there's a math for everything. And I've
Exactly.
been in the grocery store sometimes with my phone out, like, okay, they don't have this. What's the replacement? And I've been
Exactly.
to find a
Exactly.
workaround.
Exactly. So yeah, so Charissa is saying you have to get the right monk fruit. They don't all taste the same. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know.
And my wife was saying that the stevia has a little bit of an aftertaste, so you got to get used to that versus traditional sugars and honey and things
Right.
like that. So there's a little
Yeah. When I use it, I plan to use the natural form of it because yeah, with
okay.
some of these, and we'll get into that a little bit more next week about like the aspartame and the sorbitols and things like that. Those can
Mhm.
have not only aftertaste, but also can give you some stomach issues. So we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, next we have dates. And this one is a new one for
Yeah.
me. I've shared with you all before, but I'm in culinary school and this last block we made vegan desserts, and one of the classes or one of the assignments was raw desserts. So we made crust. We made basically like a little tart crust using dates. And so dates are sweet. You can pretty much process them in a food processor. We threw in some nuts, like some walnuts, pecans. I guess if you have a nut allergy, you might want to use
Mhm.
maybe sunflower seeds or something, and adding a little bit of agave, a little bit of agave, we
Mhm.
made basically a paste almost. So dates are a wonderful sweeteners. Some people put them in their smoothies, lots of different uses for them. I'm new to the date game, but if you all have been using dates, please
Aren't
put it.
they like used in the Middle East a lot?
Exactly.
They're
Yep.
very popular in the Middle East area.
That's where I first saw them when I went to Egypt, right before the pandemic, 2019, had my first taste of a date. So for those of you who are watching, let us know, like when you use dates, how do you use them? But as you see there on the calorie scale, it's about the same as honey. So one little date though. So it's not even a tablespoon. It's one date can have 65 calories. So they're very nutritionally dense. So you definitely want to be careful with that. But on the glycemic index, they're low, only 42.
Mhm.
And then the last two are applesauce. And I love to use applesauce. And those of you all who have small children at home, you definitely can relate to this. But this first applesauce you see is unsweetened. I use that as an egg replacer in my cakes, my sweet potato cakes, sweet potato pound cakes, pumpkin pound cakes, because it doesn't have much of a taste, but it adds moisture. It helps to add structure. And you can see a cup is 103 calories. And on the glycemic index, it's pretty low, 35.
Okay.
And then the other pureed fruits, other things like bananas, you can use prunes, things like that. You just want to keep in mind if you're using them for baking, keep in mind what your end product is because if it's a banana, it's going to affect the taste.
Mhm.
I would imagine prunes, things like that. And not only that, they're going to be healthy for you as far as your digestive tract as well. So just remember that as a natural sweetener, that you can add some pureed or processed fruit. Now the last one there you see is sweetened applesauce. So that one has a little bit more sugar because of course it's got more calories because it's got added sugars to it. But then I couldn't really nail down the glycemic index because some things I found were a little higher, some were a little lower. So it averaged out to about 38. That left me kind of scratching my head a little bit because I was like, well, if it has more sugar, why would it not raise the glycemic index a little more? So I don't know that I believe that, but
It makes me feel like something shady happening with
it's
these.
a little shady. The numbers
Yeah.
weren't adding up for me. But I just wanted to kind of show you all, as we're expanding our repertoire here, right? We don't always have to reach for sugar. We don't always have to reach for agave. We have other ways that we can add sugar to and sweetness to our things. And if you guys have, I want to see in the chat who out there is using some of this stuff. Peanut butter
Oh,
and dates.
Carissa is our resident vegan.
Honey,
I've
she
already
is
claimed like
the
yeah.
date queen. He's giving a recipe. Take the seed out of the date. Yes, definitely remember to pit the date. You don't want to leave it in there. Mix it with peanut butter and roll them into a ball. It's healthy. That sounds healthy and yummy. I might have to actually try that. My son loves peanut butter. I might make some of those. So yes, and then Lynn is saying they're yummy. So yes, I'm I hope we're expanding people's minds here, giving them something a little bit more to think about. Because I know for me, I've like I said, I've not used dates very much, but using them in this recipe was very eye opening for me. So
So a date seems like a big raisin.
it does. But
So
keep in
just to
mind,
kind of get somebody a frame of reference, if you've never seen a date or eaten a date, yeah, it looks like a big raisin, not as wrinkly, not quite as dark because raisins are like typically black. A date's kind of more of a dark brownish hue, auburn
right?
brown hue. But it's like a big raisin, smoother, but definitely that's kind of what it looks like, and it has a similar consistency uh,
Mhm,
when you eat it, minus
exactly.
the pit, minus the pit.
And so, and for me, for people like me with texture issues that may not, because I don't like raisins, for me, it would be great in a smoothie or pulverized into a crust. But remember, it does kind of have those calories. So just it's
Right.
all you just have to figure it out and kind of know what you need at what time.
But aren't you getting fiber from the skin?
Yeah, I would imagine so. Pectin, fiber. Yep, I would imagine
Yeah.
so. Yep,
So there are some other health benefits. Yes, you got to be wary of the sugar content and calorie content, but some other health benefits by eating dates versus eating, something that doesn't have any additional benefits other than just the sugar.
exactly. Patsy said dates are excellent for baking. Oh yes, and then Lynn said green raisins. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I've heard of golden, and I've heard of the
Well,
typical.
the green raisins is when they take white grapes and make them into
Oh, so
make
isn't that golden? That's not the same as the golden? No, no.
yeah,
Golden.
I guess maybe.
I'm
Lynn,
gonna
help us out.
research
Lynn,
that
help
and
us out.
report
Tell them
back.
green raisins. Help us out, Lynn. Give us some more
That's
content.
right. What's the difference in green and golden? But while
Yes.
he's telling us that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on because we've got to get to vegan or nah. And I took it back old school with this one. I said let me come up with something a little. So today we gonna talk about peanut butter and jelly. I said let's make sure that we're on the same page. So that's one of my favorite things to eat, right? It's probably one of the first things we all learned how to make for ourselves, right, as little kids. So peanut butter.
They made a whole song about it. Peanut
That's
butter.
right. That's right. That's some classic. You got your classic duos out there, right? You got Rick and Tina. You got
Salt and pepper.
salt and pepper and peanut butter and jelly. So is our peanuts it, our peanuts vegan? And I come on here and I try to stump y'all, but don't overthink this. Not everything is a trick or a trap, but are peanuts vegan? I know y'all don't trust me, but
Okay. Are peanuts vegan? I'm
Liz said I'm going back. Oh, to peanut butter jelly or to Rick and Tina? Which one? Let's see.
I'm
The
still messing around
Tristan.
eating a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I'm old school.
Oh,
I get
I don't
uh,
play. Do not play because
man,
yes. So Teresa said dehydrated apples are also yummy. Yes, that would be it. Then the applesauce category. You can use your oven, slice the apples thin. Y'all. I hope y'all are screenshotting this or because she's giving y'all recipes on here. You get everything on this
okay.
show. I
You
mean,
might
she's
need to have Carissa as like a super watcher, like
exactly because
bring her home one time. I'm gonna say
she's making apple chips and dates and all kinds of stuff.
real.
So Lynn says that peanut butter, he says he knows is good. And I'm so sorry. I'm Lynn. I'm saying he. I don't even know if that's the correct pronoun.
I think Lynn's a female.
I'm so sorry. Um, Lynn is saying that she thinks it's good, so she's gonna say yes. So yeah, peanuts are vegan. Duh, right?
Right.
But
Right.
how many times have we learned on this show that just because it says something on the label, you may have to still do your own kind of research in there. So yes, peanuts are vegan or peanut butter is vegan unless it contains honey. So be sure when you're reading your labels, if there are some out there that have honey in them, of course, then it would not uh be vegan. Okay.
Right.
So we did
But if
peanut.
you're veganish, that shouldn't bother you.
If you're vegan-ish, it doesn't matter. Right. Because we eat honey for vegans. Ish.
We got that.
So we did peanut butter. Now, what about its companion jelly? And we've kind
Oh
of
no,
hit on
it
this.
can't. Jelly? No, it can't be vegan. Jelly can't be vegan. I'm sorry.
Jelly, he is standing firm on that. That's a firm
Mm-mm,
no.
mm-mm. It's got to have something in there that's no.
So we're gonna for the purposes of this
The
conversation,
jelly has a gelatin, right? And that will
well, we're gonna
congeal.
lump this all together: jelly, jam, and preserves. So we're taking some broad liberties here,
Okay,
realizing that there are some nuances, some differences, but generally speaking, pureed or processed fruit. Uh,
don't worry about that.
so okay, so what do y'all think about jelly? Depends on how it's made. Yes, definitely. Jelly, like anything, right? Depends on how it's made. But yeah, I mean, pretty much almost always it's going to be vegan unless they have added some of that white sugar in there. Unless, but yes, the pectin is in it, but that's actually vegan. Pectin is a natural substance that fruits have, like apples have it, and that makes it's like a stabilizer, a thickener. So yes, it has pectin in it. Um, so if jelly unless it has gelatin, like he said, or white sugar, then it's going to be vegan.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're
I
going to,
assume that jelly has white sugar in it,
yeah,
or some sort of gelatin. That's why I said yes. But when you said
exactly.
preserves or jams, those can be a little bit more lean, more natural, and
Hmm.
so that's where I got a little confused. But if it's
No,
jelly, absolutely got
yeah, but there are
nothing.
some natural jellies out there that are just the fruit and the pectin, and so those would be vegan. But yeah, it's still just read those labels and be sure when you're reading those labels. And we can talk about this more on a future show about the added sugars, right? Because that's the stuff that they're adding after the fact. That's not the natural sugar. So if there's added sugars in there, more than likely it's probably going to be the processed sugars. So
Right.
keep that in mind. All right, so we've got our peanut butter, we got our jelly, we got to put it on this bread to make this sandwich. So, what is it? Is bread vegan? Now we know about gluten free, like we know there's gluten in so we remember vegan is a totally different term from gluten. Something can be vegan and be gluten, or it could be vegan and not gluten. So we're not talking about gluten, which is a protein, totally different issue.
Hmm.
Um, we're talking about now, is it vegan? Is bread vegan? What do y'all think? Because so we're making this sandwich, right? We're making this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And for those out there of you out there that want to make sure everything is vegan, what kind of bread are you using?
Okay, so primary ingredients and bread. You got the yeast that makes it rise,
Mm-hmm.
flour, and depending on what type of flour, so the flour can determine whether it's vegan or not. Because I think in that white flour processed in a
Uh,
way that makes it not vegan.
it's
No.
process. I'm not familiar with the flour not being vegan. The
Okay.
processing strips it of the fiber, um, and some of the natural nutrients that are in there, but I'm not sure that it affects its veganishness.
Okay. So we got some folks. We got Patsy saying vegan bread. Yes.
Uh-huh. There's
Lynn
yes.
saying I've seen vegan bread recipes. Okay, so it could be, but the store bought stuff. If it's if it's on the bread aisle, I'm going to say it depends.
It depends.
I'm
I
going to say it depends.
because if it's just the ingredients, which are flour, salt, and yeast and water, then that's all vegan. But once they start adding things in like eggs, butter, milk,
Mhm.
honey, then of course it's not. So it depends. So some of the vegan, these are breads that should be 100% vegan. So sourdough, pita bread, Ezekiel bread, of course, right? We know Ezekiel bread is all made of all those grains and seeds.
Mhm.
Baguettes. I didn't know this, but baguettes are vegan.
All right.
Focaccia, right? If you're gonna get fancy with it, and then kosher bread. Kosher bread
Okay.
is
Okay.
vegan. So peanut butter and jelly, y'all. We
So
veganize.
you can't use brioche because it has an egg wash on the top typically.
See, really? Do I even need to say it, y'all? Brioche. Yes, Mr. Ellis. Brioche is not vegan due to the egg wash. You are absolutely right. And so, same in the same vein, that would be true for then French toast too, which is one of my favorite breakfast foods. So, guys, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, but first, I got to give you nutrition in the news. And this one I came across, this article I came across, I said, oh, this is perfect because I can relate to this. And
Okay.
it's a research out of Northwestern University School of Medicine. And it says, if you are a fan of black coffee and black chocolate, or dark chocolate, excuse me, black coffee and dark chocolate, it's in your genes. There's a gene that determines that. So
Hmm.
if you prefer your chocolate black, then you probably prefer dark bitter chocolate. And that's the so that when we're talking about black coffee, that means no sugar, no milk, no cream, just the coffee and the water that it takes to make it. So you we know that coffee has health benefits. It's been shown to lower the risk of Parkinson's disease, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even colon cancer, or
Hmm.
several types of cancer, excuse me. And that benefit is seen when you drink between 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day. But when you start adding all this other stuff like the milk and the sugar and the cream, of course, that goes down and you're increasing the calorie count. So there is evidence that shows that there is a gene that shows why people drink more coffee, like those who drink a lot of coffee, and it's thought that they metabolize the caffeine so much faster that they just need to keep drinking it. They're not as susceptible to the fast heartbeat and the jitteriness that some of us get who are, coffee or caffeine naive. So I thought that was really interesting. And then similarly, um, those people, same people tend to prefer their chocolate dark, which has a more bitter and less sweet taste. So this spoke to me because I was like, yeah, I don't like my chocolate. I like milk chocolate, and I don't like black coffee. I'm in the club that adds the sugar and the cream, and I have a little bit of coffee with my cream,
With your
actually.
favorite sugar and milk and all that stuff. Yeah.
So, but
The
yeah,
the latte drinkers out there, you know,
I,
the lot,
I just I thought this was really interesting because then they also talked briefly about the mental effect, of the stimulant and the boost that you get from caffeine, and that there may not, it may just be that people think that they should feel uh, that they associate that bitter taste with it being more potent, basically, as far as its caffeine. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Well,
But
there was
yeah,
stories about the indigenous folks were coffee, like in South America, the indigenous people eating the beans, and they were
oh,
getting the caffeine from the beans, and so they were using that as a natural stimulant
as a stimulant, yeah,
because the coffee beans, they just would eat the beans or they would cook with it in other ways, and then of course coffee was developed. But yeah, it's definitely really good in its natural state, and the further it gets away from that, of course, as we know with anything, as we're talking
exactly,
about sugar, the shows about sugar, anytime you get the further away you get from something's natural state, the less healthy it becomes, and so we have to always
exactly.
be mindful of that.
So Patsy might be one of those metabolizers because she said she can drink coffee and go to sleep. So at bedtime, and then Charissa, you may have that, you may not have that gene because you don't like black coffee and she doesn't like dark chocolate. So we're on the same team. So guys, we've done it. We have done, unless it's paired with a mint. Oh, see, I don't care for that combination, but yeah, that's a thing. So
Oh man,
there you
those little, those little Andes mints, those things are delicious.
go. Like those. I don't like.
Yeah, get it from your grandmother.
I know, and I need for more stuff to taste like that to me, then I would eat less of it. So,
You give me an Andes mint and a $2 bill.
oh my god. So Lynn said that they see how they make the best coffee at a plant in Jamaica very expensive. Oh wow.
That's that Blue Mountain coffee. I know what you're talking about, Lynn. That Blue
Oh,
Mountain
I've heard
coffee.
of Blue Mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's something
Okay.
about the climate and the soil there in Jamaica. He said that Blue Mountain coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but they said that Blue Mountain is special. Yeah, the
Good
coffee
to
drinkers all swear by that Blue Mountain coffee.
know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is what I'm talking about. Eddie I'm not messing with y'all, these Andes Smiths. So we are going to go ahead and get ready to
Thank
head.
you, Carissa. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's there you go. But yeah, we're gonna head on out, and then so next week, we'll see you next year, right? Next,
Yes.
yeah, this is mind blowing. So who here takes about what 2 weeks to stop writing the year before? Like, are y'all in that same group? Back when we used to write stuff, I know nobody writes anything anymore, but it'll probably be like the middle of January before I start writing 2022. But yeah, we will see you guys next week in the beautiful shiny new year.
Oh,
Remember,
real quick, any resolutions for 2022?
well, I was just about to say, don't just let the calendar tell you when to start making changes. I mean, yes, we do that, but pick a day that has meaning to you, that has significance to you, that will probably make you more motivated and stick with it. But yes, for me, my resolutions, I'm writing a recipe a week because I'm gonna get that second cookbook out this year. The first one, Doc Fix My Plate, is available at the pre-order at docfixmyplatebook.com. But yeah, I want to write a recipe a week. I've got some exciting content coming out. Continue to grow my business. I mean, just all of it. How about you?
Well, this year I'm making a concerted effort to eat better, and so that's why I really enjoy this program, because learning different recipes. Carissa's been doing a great job of giving me different ways to kind of reinvent and eat differently, get rid of those fried foods, and then the other thing is being more mindful, right? Being in the moment. I think sometimes I tend to overthink and not just do, and I think sometimes. We miss our success, we miss our opportunities when we overthink and have that negative self-talk. So we've got to get outside of that negative self-talk and really live in the moment and be present in the moment. So those are my
Those are
resolutions for
those are
2022.
wonderful. Though that's stinking thinking, they call it, right? Like stop this stinking thinking.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
you guys be safe if you are celebrating with others. Please be safe. Wear your masks because we want you here next year, and we don't want you to, be sick. Um, so Stephanie said she'll check out the replay. Yes, because Gloom is no longer. Yeah, as we get older, things definitely change. So
Mhm.
congratulations to you for listening to that. And then tune in next week. We're gonna do "Give Me Some Sugar" Part 3, and we'll get into the sorbitols and the stevias and the
Why is it so? Why does it take 3 shows to do sugar? That's how much sugar we have in our diets, right? So
okay.
please cut sugar, reduce your sugar intake. Also, reduce your salt intake, but definitely we got to reduce our sugar intake. And Carissa, we're gonna have you on the show in 2022.
Yeah, we need to. I want to see her kitchen. I want to see what her kitchen looks like.
She'll get down. So yeah.
Yes. Happy New Year, everyone, and be safe. Thank you.
Like, I'm eating apple chips right now. I'm about to go eat a fresh batch of apple chips.
Bye,
Happy
guys.
New Year. We'll see y'all next year.